In the vast expanse of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, where countless species wage war across the stars, few are as enigmatic and tragic as the Aeldari. Once masters of the galaxy, these ancient beings now walk a precarious path between survival and extinction. The Aeldari warriors, the last guardians of a dying race, stand as living embodiments of their people's glory and fall. To understand the Aeldari warriors, one must first comprehend the weight of history they carry. Millions of years ago, the Aeldari ruled an empire that spanned the stars. Their mastery of technology and the psychic arts was unparalleled, allowing them to shape worlds and harness the very fabric of reality. They were creators and destroyers, artists and conquerors, their lives stretching across millennia. But greatness breeds hubris, and the Aeldari fell victim to their own excess. As their empire reached its zenith, they turned inward, pursuing ever more extreme forms of pleasure and experience. This decadence gave birth to a new chaos god, Slaanesh, whose violent birth tore a wound in reality, known as the Eye of Terror. In an instant, trillions of Aeldari souls were consumed, and their mighty empire was shattered. From the ashes of this cataclysm, different factions of Aeldari emerged, each seeking their own path to survival. The Craftworlds, massive planetoids housing the survivors, drifted through space. The Dark Eldar retreated to the webway city of Comora, continuing their hedonistic ways. The Harlequins dedicated themselves to preserving Aeldari culture and serving their god of laughter, Sigorak. And deep in the heart of certain planets, the Exodites sought to recapture the simplicity of their ancestors' lives. It is against this backdrop of fallen glory and desperate survival that the Aeldari warriors fight. They are not merely soldiers, but the embodiment of their race's hopes, fears, and ancient traditions. Each warrior is a work of art, their armor and weapons crafted over centuries, imbued with the psychic resonance of generations. They move with a grace that belies their deadly efficiency, their every action a dance of death honed over millennia of warfare. The path of the warrior is but one of many disciplines an Aeldari might choose to master in their long lives. It is a dangerous path, for the Aeldari's emotions burn bright, and the thrill of battle can be intoxicating. Those who walk this path risk losing themselves to the persona of the warrior, becoming trapped in a cycle of violence from which there may be no escape. Yet it is a necessary risk, for without its warriors, the Aeldari race would surely perish. On the battlefield, Aeldari warriors are a sight to behold. They strike with lightning speed, their movements too fast for human eyes to follow. Their weapons, relics of a more advanced age, unleash energies that can atomize flesh and shred reality itself. Gravity-defying grav tanks and sleek jet bikes dart across the field, while towering wraith constructs channel the spirits of the dead into battle. But for all their skill and technology, the Aeldari warriors fight a losing battle. Their numbers dwindle with each passing year, every loss a blow that their race may never recover from. They are forced to rely on prophecy and manipulation, orchestrating events across the galaxy in desperate attempts to stave off their inevitable doom. For the Aeldari, every battle is a matter of racial survival, every warrior's death a tragedy that echoes through time. Yet still they fight on, driven by a pride that spans millions of years and a determination to see their race survive. The Aeldari warriors stand as guardians of the webway, protectors of ancient treasures, and avengers against those who would hasten their extinction. They are noble and cruel, wise and arrogant, their actions incomprehensible to the younger races that now dominate the galaxy. As we delve deeper into the world of the Aeldari warriors, we will explore the intricacies of their society, the devastating weapons they wield, and the complex motivations that drive them. We will witness their triumphs and their tragedies, their moments of transcendent glory and crushing defeat. For in the grim darkness of the far future, even the oldest and most advanced of races must fight for their very existence, and none fight with more skill or desperation than the warriors of the Aeldari. The Aeldari, in their fractured state, comprise several distinct factions, each playing a crucial role in the ongoing saga of their race. These key players shape the destiny of the Aeldari and their interactions with the wider galaxy. Craftworld Aeldari form the most visible and numerous of these factions. Each craftworld is a self-contained world ship, a refugee for those who fled the fall of their ancient empire. These massive vessels drift through space, each home to millions of Aeldari who adhere to a strict path of discipline and self-denial. Notable craft worlds include Ulthwé, known for its powerful psychers and prophetic abilities; Bieltan, the most militant of craft worlds, seeking to rebuild the Aeldari Empire; and Saimhan, famed for its wild rider clans and their lightning-fast attacks. The warriors of the craft worlds follow the path of the warrior, one of many disciplines an Aeldari might pursue. Aspect Warriors embody different facets of the Aeldari war god Cain, each specializing in a particular form of combat. The swift-striking Howling Banshees, the precision snipers of the Dark Reapers, and the adaptable Dire Avengers are but a few examples of these elite troops. Leading the Aspect Warriors are the Exarchs, those who have become trapped on the path of the warrior. These fearsome fighters have fully embraced their warrior aspect, becoming living avatars of war. They serve as both commanders and mentors, passing down millennia of martial knowledge to new generations of warriors. At the pinnacle of Craftworld military hierarchy stand the Autarchs. These supreme commanders have walked many paths, including that of the warrior, granting them a comprehensive understanding of warfare. Their strategic brilliance and tactical acumen make them formidable leaders on and off the battlefield. The Drukhari, or Dark Eldar, represent a dark reflection of their Craftworld kin. Dwelling in the labyrinthine city of Kamara within the Webway, they continue the hedonistic practices that led to their race's downfall. Their raids on real space serve not just to capture slaves and resources, but to stave off the slow death of their souls, eternally hunted by Slaanesh. Cabals form the backbone of Drukhari society, with powerful archons leading these organizations in complex games of politics and violence. The Watch cults specialize in gladiatorial combat, their warriors blending grace and brutality in equal measure. Homunculus covens push the boundaries of flesh crafting and torture, creating monstrous warriors and terrible weapons. The enigmatic Harlequins serve as both entertainers and warriors, dedicated to the laughing god, Segorak. These mysterious figures move between all Aeldari factions, preserving their species' history through breathtaking performances that blend art and violence. On the battlefield, they are unparalleled in their agility and skill, their movements a deadly dance that bewilders and destroys their foes. Corsairs occupy a unique position among the Aeldari. These bands of pirates and raiders draw members from all Aeldari factions, united in their desire for adventure and plunder. They range across the galaxy in swift vessels, striking at targets of opportunity and fading away before retaliation can be mounted. The Inari represent a new hope for the Aeldari race. Founded by Yvraine, the emissary of Inead, the Aeldari god of the dead, this faction seeks to fully awaken their god and break Slaanesh's hold over their souls. Drawing followers from all Aeldari cultures, the Inari offer a tantalizing promise of redemption and rebirth for their dying race. Exodites, often overlooked by other races, are Aeldari who have chosen to abandon advanced technology and live in harmony with nature on frontier worlds. While seemingly primitive, they maintain a deep connection to their worlds through the world spirit and can call upon fearsome reptilian beasts in times of war. The Phoenix Lords, first and greatest of the Aspect Warriors, stand apart as legendary figures. Immortal and unchanging, they appear at times of great need to lead their people in battle. Each embodies the pinnacle of their Aspect's art of war, their names spoken with reverence across the craft worlds. Asurmen of the Dire Avengers, Jain-Zar of the Howling Banshees, Fuigan of the Fire Dragons, and others. Farseers and Warlocks form the psychic backbone of Aeldari society. These powerful psykers guide their people through divination and manipulation of future events. On the battlefield, they wield devastating psychic abilities, shaping reality to their will and turning the tide of conflict with their foresight. The avatar of Cain, a fragment of the Aeldari god of war, slumbers at the heart of each craft world. In times of dire need, this ancient deity can be awakened, taking physical form to lead the Aeldari hosts into battle. The awakening of an avatar is a moment of both triumph and tragedy, for it heralds both great victory and terrible sacrifice. Wraith constructs, animated by the souls of dead Aeldari, form a unique and powerful component of Craftworld forces. From the nimble Wraith Blades to the towering Wraith Knights, these ghostly warriors bring the strength and experience of fallen heroes to bear against the Aeldari's foes. Each of these factions and figures plays a vital role in the complex tapestry of Aeldari existence. Their interactions, alliances, and conflicts drive the narrative of this ancient race as they strive to carve out a future in a galaxy that has long since moved on without them. The Aeldari warriors, in all their diverse forms, stand as the last line of defense against extinction, their every action weighted with the fate of their entire species. The genesis of the Aeldari warriors traces back to the twilight era of the Old Ones, a primordial race of immense psychic power. Facing extinction at the hands of the Necrontyr and their Satan masters, the Old Ones created the Aeldari as weapons in this cosmic war. Gifted with extraordinary psychic abilities and longevity, the Aeldari were designed to be the perfect counter to the soulless Necrons. As the war in heaven raged across the galaxy, the Aeldari proved their worth. Their natural affinity for the warp, combined with advanced technology inherited from the Old Ones, made them formidable opponents. They developed fighting styles that blended physical prowess with psychic might, laying the foundation for what would become the path of the warrior. The conclusion of this cataclysmic conflict left the Aeldari as one of the dominant races in the galaxy. With their creators gone and their enemies defeated or dormant, they found themselves heirs to vast swaths of space and keeper of technologies beyond the comprehension of younger races. In the millions of years that followed, the Aeldari built an empire spanning the stars. Their mastery of the Webway, a labyrinthine dimension existing between real space and the warp, allowed them to traverse the galaxy with ease. This network of tunnels, originally created by the Old Ones, became the backbone of Aeldari civilization, enabling trade, communication, and rapid military deployment across their domain. The Aeldari's innate psychic abilities continued to evolve during this time. They learned to manipulate the energies of the warp with unprecedented skill, shaping worlds to their will and even creating their own gods. This period saw the birth of many Aeldari deities, including Asurian the Creator, Isha the Mother, and Cain the Warrior. Cain, in particular, played a crucial role in the development of Aeldari martial traditions. The god of war and murder embodied the violent aspects of the Aeldari psyche, and his worship gave rise to intricate warrior cults. These cults would later evolve into the aspect shrines of the craft worlds, each dedicated to a different facet of Cain's personality. As their empire reached its zenith, the Aeldari found themselves without external threats. Their technology had advanced to the point where menial tasks could be automated, leaving the majority of the population free to pursue their own interests. This abundance of leisure time, combined with their intense emotional nature and psychic sensitivity, led the Aeldari down a path of hedonism and excess. Over thousands of years, Aeldari society became increasingly decadent. Pursuit of pleasure and new sensations became the driving force of their civilization. Sadistic cults arose, specializing in ever more extreme experiences. The lines between entertainment, art, and torture blurred as the Aeldari pushed the boundaries of morality and sanity. During this decline, a minority of Aeldari recognized the danger their society faced. Known as the Exodites, these individuals chose to abandon the heart of the Empire, establishing colonies on distant maiden worlds. They embraced a simpler lifestyle, maintaining a strong connection to nature and their worlds through structures known as world spirits. Another group, which would later form the population of the Craftworlds, also saw the impending doom. These Aeldari began constructing massive world ships, foreseeing a time when they would need to flee their homeworlds. Initially ridiculed by their fellow Aeldari, these seers and their followers would ultimately become the preservers of traditional Aeldari culture. As the depravity of the Aeldari Empire reached its peak, it began to have a profound effect on the warp. The psychic echoes of trillions of Aeldari indulging in unrestrained excess coalesced in the immaterium, slowly giving birth to a new entity. This gestating god, which would come to be known as Slaanesh, fed on the extreme emotions and sensations of the Aeldari, growing ever stronger. In the final days before the fall, some Aeldari, driven by prophetic visions or a deep-seated unease, retreated to the webway. These individuals would eventually become the Drukhari, continuing their hedonistic lifestyle in the hidden city of Kamara, shielded from the catastrophe about to engulf their species. The birth of Slaanesh, known to the Aeldari as She Who Thirsts, was a cataclysmic event that reshaped the galaxy. The psychic shockwave of its birth tore a massive rift in reality, creating the Eye of Terror. Trillions of Aeldari souls were consumed in an instant, their core worlds destroyed or swallowed by the warp. In the aftermath of this catastrophe, the surviving Aeldari found themselves facing extinction. The Craftworlds, now adrift in space, implemented strict codes of behavior to avoid falling into the trap of excess again. The path system was developed, allowing Aeldari to focus their intense personalities on specific roles while maintaining emotional balance. The path of the warrior emerged as a crucial element of this new society. It provided a controlled outlet for aggression and martial impulses, transforming the Aeldari's violent tendencies into a disciplined art form. Each aspect of Kine became a distinct warrior tradition, preserving the martial skills of the old empire while instilling the control necessary to resist Slaanesh's pull. Thus, the modern Aeldari warrior was born from the ashes of their fallen empire. Combining ancient martial traditions with rigid discipline, they stand as the bulwark against the extinction of their race. Each battle they fight is not just for victory, but for the very survival of the Aeldari species, their every action weighted with the accumulated wisdom and tragedy of millions of years of history. The evolution of Aeldari warriors spans millions of years, marked by triumphs, tragedies, and constant adaptation. Their journey begins in the crucible of the war in heaven, where they first emerged as the Old One's creations. During this ancient conflict, Aeldari warriors honed their skills against the Necrontyre and Satan. They developed techniques blending physical combat with psychic abilities, laying the groundwork for their future martial traditions. The war's end left them as one of the dominant races in the galaxy, inheritors of advanced technology and vast territories. In the aftermath, Aeldari civilization flourished. Their warriors, no longer needed for constant battle, became protectors and explorers. They safeguarded the expanding Aeldari domains and ventured into the furthest reaches of space, encountering and often subjugating lesser races. The age of technology saw Aeldari martial prowess reach new heights. They created weapons of incredible power, from swords that could split atoms to guns that fired shards of crystallized psychic energy. Warp-based technology allowed them to manipulate gravity and time itself on the battlefield. As their empire grew decadent, many warriors turned to blood sports and gladiatorial combat for stimulation. These arenas became testing grounds for ever more exotic and cruel fighting styles, some of which would later influence Drukhari combat techniques. The fall marked a pivotal moment in Aeldari warrior culture. Those who survived on the Craftworlds faced the challenge of maintaining their martial skills while avoiding the excesses that led to their species' downfall. This led to the development of the Aspect Warrior system. Each Aspect Shrine was founded by a legendary warrior who distilled a particular facet of war into a disciplined path. Asurmen, the first Phoenix Lord, established the Dire Avenger's Shrine, emphasizing precision and adaptability. Jane Zar founded the Howling Banshees, focusing on speed and terror tactics. Fugin created the Fire Dragons, mastering the art of close-range destruction. Other aspects followed: the Shadow Specters with their hit-and-run tactics, the Warp Spiders utilizing short-range teleportation, and the Crimson Hunters dominating aerial combat. Each shrine developed unique weapons, armor, and fighting styles, all designed to channel aggression safely while maximizing combat effectiveness. The Path of the Warrior became a temporary calling for most Craftworld Aeldari. They would dedicate themselves to an aspect for a time, honing their skills before moving on to other paths. This system helped maintain a balance between the need for defenders and the danger of being consumed by violence. Exarchs emerged as a tragic but necessary element of this new order. These warriors, unable to leave the Path of the Warrior, became living embodiments of their aspects. They served as instructors and leaders, their millennia of experience making them invaluable on the battlefield. Meanwhile, the Drukhari and Kamara took a different approach. Their warriors continued to revel in cruelty and excess, developing fighting styles that maximized pain and suffering. Witch cults evolved into gladiatorial societies, their battles serving as both entertainment and a means of sustaining their souls against Slaanesh's pull. Homunculus covens pushed the boundaries of flesh crafting, creating monstrous warriors and body modifications that blurred the line between biology and weaponry. Kabbalite warriors became masters of rapid raids and hit-and-run tactics, necessary skills for their real space invasions. The Harlequins, servants of the Laughing God, developed their own unique combat style. Blending acrobatics, psychic illusions, and deadly weaponry, they turned warfare into a performance art. Their mastery of the webway allowed them to strike with unparalleled speed and precision. As the Aeldari adapted to their post-fall existence, they faced new challenges. The rise of the Imperium of Man forced them to refine their strategies, focusing on precision strikes and manipulation rather than open warfare. Encounters with Tyrannid hive fleets and awakening Necron dynasties tested their adaptability and resolve. The Aeldari's psychic abilities, always a cornerstone of their combat prowess, became even more critical. Farseers and Warlocks took on greater importance, using their powers to guide warriors through battlefield probabilities and turn aside enemy attacks. The creation of ghost helms and runes of warding allowed these psykers to use their abilities more safely, protecting them from Slaanesh's gaze. Technological advancements continued, albeit at a slower pace. The development of Wraithbone, a psychoplastic material, revolutionized Aeldari weaponry and armor. This allowed for the creation of lightweight yet highly effective war gear, from the sleek Aspect Warrior armor to the devastating D-cannons. The introduction of Wraith constructs marked another significant development. By housing the souls of dead warriors in artificial bodies, the Aeldari found a way to bring the experience of fallen heroes to bear on the battlefield. Wraithguard, Wraithblades, and the towering Wraithlords became crucial heavy support units for Craftworld forces. In recent times, the awakening of Aeneid, the Aeldari god of the dead, has sparked a new movement. The Innari, followers of this deity, represent a potential future for Aeldari warriors. Their ability to fight on after death, returning to battle as revenants, has added a new dimension to Aeldari military capabilities. Throughout their long history, Aeldari warriors have remained a potent force in the galaxy. From the earliest days of the War in Heaven to the current turbulent era, they have continuously adapted their combat doctrines and technologies. Despite dwindling numbers, their skill, speed, and tactical acumen make them formidable opponents and valuable, if often reluctant, allies. As the Aeldari race faces an uncertain future, their warriors stand ready. Whether Aspect Warriors of the Craftworlds, Drukhari raiders from Kamara, Harlequin performers, or Inari revenants, they continue to fight. Each battle is waged not just for victory, but for the very survival of their species, carrying the weight of millions of years of triumph and tragedy. The awakening of Aenead, the Aeldari god of the dead, marks a pivotal moment in the saga of the Aeldari warriors. This event, long prophesied but thought impossible, has sent shockwaves through all factions of the fragmented Aeldari race, heralding a potential rebirth for their dying civilization. Aenead's stirring began in the wake of Eldred Ulthrin's desperate gambit during the 13th Black Crusade. The legendary Farseer of Ulthwé attempted a ritual to fully awaken the slumbering deity, believing it to be the last hope for his people. Though the ritual was thwarted, it succeeded in rousing Aenead from its millennia-long slumber. The partial awakening manifested in the form of Yvraine, the daughter of Shades. Once a rising star in the Comorat arenas, Yvraine died during a disjunction, only to be reborn as the emissary of Aenead. Her emergence sent ripples through the Aeldari race, drawing warriors from all factions to her cause. Yvraine's message was revolutionary. Aenead offered a way to break free from Slaanesh's eternal hunger for Aeldari souls. This promise of salvation resonates deeply with a race that has lived for millennia under the shadow of inevitable doom. For the first time since the fall, the Aeldari glimpsed a future free from the Dark God's clutches. The Inari, as Yvraine's followers came to be known, represent a radical departure from traditional Aeldari combat doctrines. They eschew the rigid path system of the Craftworlds and the hedonistic excesses of the Drukhari, instead embracing death as a form of transcendence. This new philosophy has profound implications for Aeldari warriors. Central to Inari combat doctrine is the power of revenant discipline, a new form of psychic ability tied to Aenead. This discipline allows Inari psychers to manipulate the energies of death itself, turning the battlefield into a swirling maelstrom of life and death. Warriors slain in battle can be temporarily resurrected, their souls anchored by the power of Aenead. The emergence of the Inari has led to unlikely alliances. Warriors from Craftworlds fight alongside Drukhari raiders and Harlequin troops, united by the promise of salvation. This unprecedented cooperation has the potential to overcome the greatest weakness of the Aeldari, their fractured nature. However, the rise of the Inari is not without controversy. Many Craftworld Eldar view the Inari with suspicion, seeing their practices as dangerous and their promises as too good to be true. The Drukhari, particularly the upper echelons of Comorat society, see the Inari as a threat to their power base. Despite these tensions, the martial prowess of the Inari is undeniable. Their warriors fight with a fervor born of newfound hope, their strikes empowered by the energies of Aenead. The fear of permanent death is lessened, allowing for bolder tactics and sacrificial plays that were once unthinkable. The recovery of the Crone swords, ancient weapons of immense power, has further bolstered the Inari cause. Each of these blades is capable of severing the bond between Slaanesh and the Aeldari soul, offering true death and freedom to those who fall in battle. The search for these artifacts has become a driving force for Inari war parties. The formation of the Incarni, the avatar of Aenead, represents another seismic shift in Aeldari warfare. This entity, born from the collected souls of slain Inari, is a terrifying force on the battlefield. It can manifest wherever Aeldari die in large numbers, turning the tide of battle with its reality-warping powers. As news of the Inari spreads, it catalyzes change across all Aeldari factions. Craftworld Aspect Warriors find themselves questioning the path system, attracted by the freedom offered by Aenead's way. Drukhari, long trapped in a cycle of torture and soul drain, see a chance for redemption and release. Even the Harlequins, traditionally aloof and enigmatic, have been drawn into the Inari's orbit. The Laughing God's followers see in Aenead a potential ally in their eternal war against chaos, leading some to join Yvraine's cause outright. The impact of the Inari extends beyond the Aeldari race. Their actions have far-reaching consequences for the galaxy at large. The awakening of Inyed and the subsequent resurrection of Robut Guilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines, has shifted the balance of power in the Imperium of Man. This uneasy alliance between Inari and Imperium hints at the potential for a new order in the galaxy. However, the path of the Inari is fraught with danger. The Chaos Gods, particularly Slaanesh, view this new deity as a dire threat. The forces of Chaos have redoubled their efforts to destroy the Aeldari, focusing particular ire on the followers of Inyed. Every battle fought by the Inari is not just for survival, but for the very future of their race. The emergence of the Inari and the stirring of Inyed represent a turning point in the long, tragic history of the Aeldari warriors. For the first time in millennia, they fight not just to stave off extinction, but for the promise of rebirth. This newfound hope has energized Aeldari across the galaxy, from Craftworld to Kamara, from Maiden World to Webway. As the Inari movement grows, it promises to reshape Aeldari society and warfare. The rigid distinctions between Craftworlder, Drukhari, and Harlequin blur, giving rise to new hybrid fighting styles and strategies. The Aeldari warrior of the future may well be a synthesis of all these traditions, empowered by Inyed and freed from the burdens of the past. Yet questions remain. Can the Inari truly deliver on their promise of salvation? Will the awakening of Inyed lead to the prophesied rebirth of the Aeldari race, or will it merely herald its final doom? As the galaxy plunges ever deeper into conflict, the Aeldari warriors stand at a crossroads, their choices and battles shaping not just their own fate, but that of the entire galaxy. The actions of Aeldari warriors reverberate across the galaxy, shaping the destiny of their race and influencing the course of countless others. Their interventions, both overt and subtle, cascade through time and space, often with far-reaching and unforeseen results. Perhaps the most significant consequence of Aeldari martial activity is the preservation of their dwindling race. Each battle fought, each world defended, and each enemy vanquished buys precious time for a species teetering on the brink of extinction. The skill and sacrifice of these warriors have allowed the Craftworlds to endure, the Exodites to thrive on their maiden worlds, and even the Drukhari to persist in their shadowy realm of Kamara. However, this survival comes at a cost. The path of the warrior, while necessary for the Craftworlders' continued existence, exacts a heavy toll on the Aeldari psyche. Those who walk this path risk losing themselves to the thrill of battle, becoming exarchs, eternally trapped in the warrior mindset, unable to return to civilian life. This creates a cadre of supremely skilled fighters, but diminishes the already limited Aeldari population capable of replenishment. The actions of Aeldari warriors have also profoundly impacted other races. Their hit-and-run tactics and surgical strikes have toppled human empires, redirected orc wachs, and even influenced the Great Devourer's path. These interventions, often aimed at averting some foreseen calamity, have earned the Aeldari a reputation for capriciousness and duplicity among the younger races. This reputation has led to widespread distrust of the Aeldari. Even when their goals align with those of other factions, potential allies hesitate to cooperate fully, wary of hidden agendas and long-term schemes. This isolation further complicates the Aeldari's efforts to navigate the treacherous waters of galactic politics and warfare. The Drukhari's raids have sown terror across thousands of worlds. Their attacks leave behind devastated populations and ruined infrastructures, fueling hatred and fear of all Aeldari. This blurs the distinction between the various Aeldari factions in the eyes of other races, often leading to Craftworld or Exodite Aeldari facing hostility sparked by their Darkkin's actions. Technological stagnation stands as another consequence of the Aeldari's martial focus. With much of their resources devoted to warfare and survival, innovation has slowed. While their technology remains far advanced compared to most races, the gap has narrowed over the millennia. This relative decline has forced Aeldari warriors to rely increasingly on superior skill and speed, rather than technological edge. The Aeldari psychic abilities, a cornerstone of their combat prowess, have inadvertently strengthened their greatest nemesis. Each use of these powers in battle risks drawing the attention of Slaanesh, the chaos god born from their fall. This has necessitated the development of complex rituals and protective measures, adding layers of complexity to Aeldari warfare. Their battle prowess has also affected the tactics and technologies of other races. Imperial forces have adapted their strategies to counter Aeldari speed and precision. The Tau have incorporated lessons from Aeldari hit-and-run tactics into their own doctrine. Even the Necrons have had to adjust their arithmetic engram protocols to account for the Aeldari's unconventional maneuvers. The warrior culture of the Aeldari has shaped their society in profound ways. On the Craftworlds, the ever-present need for defenders has led to the establishment of warrior shrines as central institutions. These shrines serve not only as training grounds, but as repositories of ancient lore and tradition, helping to preserve Aeldari culture in the face of decline. In Comera, the gladiatorial arenas and witch cults have become the dark heart of Drukhari society. The spectacles of violence they provide not only entertain the masses, but also serve as a vital source of psychic sustenance, staving off the soul decay that plagues their race. The emergence of the Inari has added another layer of complexity to the consequences of Aeldari warfare. Their ability to deny Slaanesh their souls has emboldened some warriors, leading to more aggressive tactics. However, it has also deepened divisions within Aeldari society, with traditionalists viewing the Inari with suspicion and fear. Aeldari martial activity has had ecological consequences as well. Their world-shaping technologies, while less frequently used in the post-fall era, have still altered countless planets. Maiden worlds, seeded and nurtured by Aeldari hands, stand as bastions of life in the harsh galactic environment. Conversely, worlds touched by Drukhari raids often bear long-lasting scars, their biospheres permanently altered by the dark technologies unleashed. The long memory of the Aeldari, coupled with their martial traditions, has perpetuated ancient grudges and conflicts. Wars that began before the rise of humanity continue to smolder, occasionally flaring into violence that engulfs unsuspecting younger races. This persistence of age-old enmities further complicates galactic politics and hinders potential alliances. Aeldari warriors have played crucial roles in stemming galactic threats. Their actions have been instrumental in containing chaos incursions, slowing Tyranid hive fleets, and disrupting Necron awakenings. While rarely acknowledged by other races, these interventions have repeatedly saved countless lives and preserved entire civilizations. However, the Aeldari's tendency to prioritize the survival of their own race has sometimes led to decisions that doom others. Entire human worlds have been sacrificed to protect a handful of Aeldari lives, fueling resentment and perpetuating the cycle of mistrust and hostility. The continuous warfare has also resulted in the loss of countless artifacts and repositories of knowledge. Each Craftworld or Maiden World destroyed, each witch cult eliminated, represents an irreplaceable loss of Aeldari lore and culture. This slow erosion of their heritage adds urgency to every battle, as each defeat brings their race one step closer to obsolescence. Yet, amidst these often grim consequences, the actions of Aeldari warriors have also kindled hope. The alliances forged in the heat of battle, the ancient wisdom shared with younger races, and the world saved from destruction all stand as testament to the potential for a brighter future. As the galaxy faces ever-growing threats, the consequences of Aeldari martial prowess may yet prove to be the key to survival for more than just their own race. Aeldari martial technology stands as a testament to their ancient wisdom and psychic mastery. At the core of their arsenal lies Wraithbone, a psycho-reactive material that forms the basis of nearly all Aeldari constructs. This remarkable substance, grown and shaped by the minds of bone singers, allows for the creation of weapons and armor that are both incredibly lightweight and exceptionally durable. The iconic shuriken weapons exemplify Aeldari ingenuity. These firearms propel molecularly thin discs at hypersonic velocities, capable of slicing through armor with ease. The compact nature of their ammunition allows for high-capacity magazines, enabling Aeldari warriors to lay down punishing volleys of fire. More esoteric armaments include D-weapons, which fire beams of distortion energy that tear apart real space, utterly annihilating anything caught in their path. These devastating arms are reserved for times of dire need, their use carefully monitored to prevent attracting the attention of Slaanesh. Aeldari close combat weapons are no less advanced. Power swords crackling with disruptive energies, ghost swords that phase through armor to strike directly at the foe's life force, and laser lances that combine speed with lethal precision are but a few examples of their melee arsenal. The fusion of technology and psychic power reaches its zenith in witchblades and singing spears. These weapons serve as both foci for psychic abilities and deadly armaments in their own right, allowing Farseers and Warlocks to shape the energies of the warp into devastating attacks. Aeldari armor prioritizes agility over bulk. Aspect Warrior armor, crafted from wraithbone and other advanced composites, offers exceptional protection while maintaining full range of motion. Each Aspect's armor incorporates unique features, such as the sensory-enhancing fins of the howling banshees or the stealth fields of the striking scorpions. Force shields and hollow fields represent the pinnacle of Aeldari defensive technology. These devices bend light and energy around the user, making them incredibly difficult to target. On larger scales, hollow fields protect Aeldari vehicles and even entire craft worlds, causing them to appear as shimmering mirages to enemy sensors. The sleek vehicles of the Aeldari epitomize their preference for speed and maneuverability. Grav tanks like the Fire Prism glide effortlessly across the battlefield, their sophisticated targeting systems allowing for precision fire even at top speed. Jet bikes, such as those ridden by Shining Spears and Wind Riders, combine incredible velocity with deadly firepower. In void combat, Aeldari ships reign supreme in terms of speed and agility. Equipped with advanced hollow fields and armed with devastating pulsar lances, these vessels can outmaneuver and outgun most opposing fleets. The Phoenix ships, capable of operating in space, air, and on land, showcase the versatility of Aeldari engineering. Wraith constructs stand apart as a unique fusion of technology and spirituality. These machines, animated by the souls of fallen Aeldari, range from the nimble Wraith blades to the towering Wraith Knights. Their ghostly nature allows them to phase through solid matter, while their psychic connection to their pilots results in unparalleled synchronization. Webway technology, inherited from the Old Ones, remains a cornerstone of Aeldari's strategy. This labyrinthine network of interdimensional tunnels allows for rapid redeployment of forces across vast distances. Webway gates can be used to launch surprise attacks or facilitate swift retreats, granting Aeldari armies unparalleled strategic flexibility. The tactics employed by Aeldari warriors are as refined as their technology. Speed, precision, and foresight form the triad upon which their battle strategies are built. Aeldari commanders, guided by the prescient visions of Farseers, orchestrate complex maneuvers designed to strike at critical vulnerabilities while minimizing their own exposure. Hit-and-run tactics feature prominently in Aeldari warfare. Utilizing their superior speed in the cover of hollow fields, Aeldari forces strike swiftly at enemy weak points before withdrawing. This approach allows them to gradually wear down numerically superior foes while conserving their own limited numbers. The Aspect Shrines each embody a different facet of war, and Aeldari tactics often involve careful synchronization of these diverse capabilities. Fire dragons might breach enemy fortifications, allowing howling banshees to sweep in and eliminate key targets. Meanwhile, Dark Reapers provide covering fire as swooping hawks descend from above to sow chaos in the enemy's rear. Psychic warfare plays a crucial role in Aeldari strategy. Farseers and Warlocks use their powers to manipulate the threads of fate, subtly guiding the flow of battle. They can cloud enemy minds, enhancing the effectiveness of stealth tactics, or unleash devastating psychic storms to break enemy formations. The Drukhari, while shunning psychic abilities, have developed their own unique approaches to combat. Their raids prioritize the capture of living prisoners, leading to the development of sophisticated toxins and agonizing weapons designed to incapacitate rather than kill outright. Homunculus covens provide monstrous flesh-crafted creatures to serve as shock troops, while witch cults perform acrobatic displays of violence that are as much performance as they are military strategy. Harlequins bring an element of psychological warfare to Aeldari tactics. Their holographic war gear and reality-bending abilities create nightmarish illusions on the battlefield, sowing confusion and terror among enemy ranks. A small troop of Harlequins can tie down entire enemy formations, their bewildering movements and attacks defying conventional military logic. The recent emergence of Inari tactics has added new dimensions to Aeldari warfare. Their ability to draw strength from nearby deaths, both friend and foe, encourages more aggressive strategies. Inari commanders might deliberately sacrifice units to power devastating psychic abilities or to call forth the avatar of Aeneid, turning the tide of battle in a single dramatic moment. Aeldari void combat tactics emphasize maneuverability and long-range engagement. Their ships execute complex attack patterns, striking from multiple vectors simultaneously to overwhelm enemy defenses. Phantom lances reach out across vast distances to cripple key enemy vessels before they can effectively respond. On a grand strategic scale, Aeldari warfare often involves manipulating other races into conflict, weakening potential threats, or eliminating obstacles without direct intervention. This approach, while efficient, has contributed to their reputation for duplicity among other races. Despite their advanced technology and sophisticated tactics, Aeldari warriors face significant challenges. Their dwindling numbers mean that every casualty is keenly felt, forcing them to prioritize surgical precision over overwhelming force. The ever-present threat of Slaanesh requires constant vigilance, limiting the use of certain psychic abilities and necessitating complex protective measures. As the galaxy plunges ever deeper into conflict, Aeldari warriors continue to adapt their technologies and tactics. The synthesis of ancient wisdom with new innovations may yet chart a path to survival for this beleaguered race. In the crucible of unending war, the Aeldari forge ahead, their martial prowess a beacon of hope against the encroaching darkness. The annals of Aeldari history are replete with figures of legend, their deeds echoing through millennia. These individuals, whether revered as heroes or reviled as villains, have shaped the course of their race and left indelible marks upon the galaxy. Among the most prominent heroes are the Phoenix Lords, the first and greatest of the Aspect Warriors. Asurmen, the Hand of Asurian, stands foremost among them. The progenitor of the Dire Avengers, he established the first Aspect Shrine and laid the foundation for the Path system. His wisdom guides the Aeldari still, his appearances heralding moments of great import. Jane Zar, the Storm of Silence, embodies the swift and deadly art of the howling banshees. Her screaming mask strikes terror into the hearts of foes, while her grace in battle remains unmatched. Legends speak of her single-handedly turning the tide of wars, her blade of destruction cleaving through entire enemy formations. Fugin, the Burning Lance, founded the Fire Dragon's aspect. His unbreakable will and mastery of thermal weaponry have seen him survive trials that would have annihilated lesser warriors. Prophecies foretell his role in the Rana Dandra, the final battle against chaos. Morgan Ra, the Harvester of Souls, stands as a grim sentinel against the encroaching darkness. The founder of the Dark Reapers, his Mogatar shrieks death across battlefields, each shot guided by millennia of experience. His defense of Craftworld Altanzar from the warp itself has become a tale of inspiration for Aeldari across the galaxy. Baharoth, the Cry of the Wind, leads the swooping hawks in their aerial assaults. His mastery of hit-and-run tactics has influenced not just Aeldari's strategy, but that of other races who have faced his lightning raids. His compassion for the Aeldari people is said to rival his skill in battle. Among the Drukhari, Lilith Hesperax reigns supreme in the gladiatorial arenas of Kamara. Her blade work transcends mere combat, becoming a lethal art form that mesmerizes spectators even as it eviscerates opponents. Her refusal to rely on combat drugs only enhances her legendary status. Drazar, the Master of Blades, stands as a dark mirror to the Phoenix Lords, his origins shrouded in mystery. Some whisper he may be the fallen Phoenix Lord of the Incubi. His skill with the Executioner's Demiclaves is unparalleled, each battle a performance of exquisite violence. The Harlequins boast their own legendary figures, none more renowned than Segurak, the Laughing God himself. Though not strictly a warrior, his cosmic jest against Slaanesh and his guidance of his followers have preserved a vital strand of Aeldari culture and martial prowess. Among the Farseers, Eldrad Ulthron of Craftworld Ulthwé has shaped Aeldari destiny for over 10,000 years. His mastery of divination and manipulation has averted countless disasters, though often at great cost to other races. His recent gambit to awaken Aeneid, though not entirely successful, has opened new paths for his people. Yvraine, the emissary of Aeneid, represents a new hope for the Aeldari. Once a rising star in the Comarite arenas, her death and rebirth as Aenead's chosen herald has catapulted her to legendary status. Her ability to unite disparate Aeldari factions and her power over death itself mark her as a pivotal figure in their race's struggle for survival. The Visarch, once known as Yvraine's rival, now stands as her sworn protector. His martial skill, honed over centuries of warfare, combined with the power granted by Aenead, makes him a formidable warrior. His unwavering loyalty to Yvraine and the Inari cause has inspired many to join their ranks. The Incarn, avatar of Aenead, while not an individual hero, represents the collective hopes of the Inari. Its ability to manifest wherever Aeldari die in battle serves as both inspiration and grim reminder of their race's precarious position. On the darker side of Aeldari legend stands Vecht, the supreme overlord of Kamara. His cunning and cruelty are matched only by his ambition. From humble beginnings as a slave, he rose to dominate the Dark City, outmaneuvering and outliving countless rivals. His machinations keep the Drukhari in a state of perpetual conflict, sharpening their edge against the threat of Slaanesh. Ahra, the fallen phoenix, remains a contentious figure in Aeldari lore. Once a contemporary of Asurmen, he fell to darkness and is believed by some to have become the first of the Incubi. His tale serves as a cautionary legend, a reminder of the fine line Aeldari warriors walk between discipline and excess. The War in Heaven produced its own legendary figures, mostly lost to time, but occasionally glimpsed in ancient ruins or fragmented prophecies. The Aeldari gods themselves, before their fall, were warrior heroes of unimaginable power. Cain, the bloody-handed god, epitomized the Aeldari's martial aspect, his shattered form now awakened in times of greatest need as the avatars of Cain. Even among the rank-and-file heroes emerge. The Exarchs, those aspect warriors forever locked on the path of the warrior, each carry the weight of countless battles. Every craft world tells tales of valiant last stands and impossible victories attributed to these timeless warriors. Autarchs, the supreme military commanders of the craft worlds, often become legendary figures in their own right. Their strategic brilliance and mastery of multiple warrior aspects allow them to coordinate complex battle plans that leverage every strength of the Aeldari forces. The Phoenix Lord's disciples, those rare individuals who don the armor of a fallen Phoenix Lord and carry on their legacy, form a unique category. Neither fully individual nor purely avatar, they embody the unbroken line of Aeldari martial tradition stretching back to the Fall. Even among the corsairs, figures of renown arise. Uriel of Yandin, once exiled for his recklessness, returned to save his craftworld from Tyrannid invasion. His mastery of void combat and willingness to wield the cursed spear of twilight mark him as a true hero of his people. The Aeldari's long history and psychically active nature blur the line between myth and reality. Legendary heroes of the past are said to sometimes walk again in times of great need, whether as reincarnated souls or psychic echoes given form by the collective belief of the Aeldari. These heroes and villains, whether individuals of incredible skill or embodiments of greater forces, play crucial roles in shaping Aeldari destiny. Their deeds inspire future generations, their wisdom guides strategic decisions, and their power often turns the tide in critical moments. In a race as long-lived as the Aeldari, these legendary figures are not distant historical characters, but active players in an ongoing saga of survival and redemption. As the Aeldari face ever-growing threats, new heroes continue to emerge. Each battle, each crisis, forges new legends. These heroes carry the hopes of their people, their actions rippling across time and space, shaping the destiny of not just the Aeldari, but the galaxy itself. Beneath the surface of Aeldari martial culture lie enigmas that have puzzled scholars and warriors alike for millennia. The Black Library, a repository of forbidden knowledge hidden deep within the webway, houses secrets of chaos and ancient Aeldari lore. Its exact location remains unknown to all but a select few, with Harlequins serving as its enigmatic guardians. The contents of this vast archive could potentially shift the balance of power in the galaxy, yet the dangers of misuse keep it sealed from all but the most worthy seekers. The true nature of the infinity circuits, the psychic reservoirs that house the souls of dead Craftworld Aeldari, remains a subject of speculation. Some theorize these vast networks of crystal contain not just the essence of the departed, but also fragments of ancient knowledge and forgotten techniques. The potential to access this wellspring of wisdom tantalizes Aeldari savants, yet the risk of disrupting the souls within stays their hand. The origins of the Drukhari's dark city, Kamara, are shrouded in mystery. Its impossible geography, spanning multiple points in real space and the webway, defies conventional understanding. Rumors persist of hidden districts that predate the fall, preserving technologies and entities from the height of the Aeldari Empire. The true extent of Kamara's reach and the full scope of its impossible architecture remain unknown even to most of its denizens. The fate of the lost craftworlds continues to haunt the Aeldari. Craftworlds like Jartan and Malantai vanished without trace, their destinies unknown. Theories range from destruction by unknown enemies to deliberate self-exile into uncharted regions of space. The possibility that these lost kinfolk might one day return, bearing either salvation or doom, weighs heavily on the minds of Aeldari seers. The Rana Dandra, the prophesied final battle against chaos, occupies a central place in Aeldari mythology. Yet the specifics of this apocalyptic conflict remain frustratingly vague. Farseers have long debated the exact nature of this foretold event, its timing, and the role the Aeldari are destined to play. Some even question whether their actions might inadvertently hasten or avert this cataclysmic confrontation. The true capabilities of the avatars of Cain remain a point of contention. These embodiments of the Aeldari god of war display tremendous power, yet tales from the time of the fall suggest their current manifestations are but shadows of their former glory. The question of whether these avatars could ever reclaim their full godlike potential tantalizes Aeldari warriors, offering a glimmer of hope in desperate times. The Crucible of Malediction, an arcane device wielded by Hemlock Wraith fighters, emits psychic screams capable of destroying the minds of psychers. The origins of this terrible weapon are unknown, with some speculating it channels the anguish of tormented souls. The full extent of its capabilities and the potential cost to its users remains a closely guarded secret. The nature of the Phoenix Lord's immortality presents another enigma. When slain, these legendary warriors can be reborn if another Aeldari dons their armor, their essence overriding the wearer's personality. This process raises questions about the true nature of Aeldari souls and the potential for a form of immortality beyond the threat of Slaanesh. The Exodites' world spirits, psychic reservoirs similar to infinity circuits but tied to planetary biospheres, hint at a deeper connection between the Aeldari and the natural world. Some speculate these world spirits might offer a path to restore dead worlds, or even serve as a model for healing the galaxy itself. The full potential of this technology and its possible application beyond Exodite worlds remains unexplored. The webway itself holds countless mysteries. Vast sections of this labyrinthine dimension remain unmapped, with some passageways leading to unknown regions of space and time. Legends speak of hidden realms within the webway, sanctuary worlds untouched by the Fall, and even pathways to alternate realities. The true scope of the webway and the wonders or horrors it might contain continues to elude even the most knowledgeable Aeldari. The Breath of Cain, a mythical artifact said to contain the dying breath of the Aeldari god of war, has been the subject of countless quests. Its supposed ability to awaken the full power of Cain in his avatars has led many Craftworlds to seek it, yet its existence remains unconfirmed. Whether this relic truly exists, or is merely a metaphor for the warrior spirit of the Aeldari, is a matter of fierce debate. The possibility of uncorrupted Aeldari gods surviving the Fall tantalize many. While Segorak and Isha are known to have survived in some form, rumors persist of other deities escaping destruction or imprisonment. The potential return of these gods could dramatically alter the fate of the Aeldari, yet the veracity of these claims remains unproven. The true nature of the Umbra Angelis, the psychic field generated by swooping hawks, is not fully understood. This aura of dread affects even fearless foes, suggesting a power that transcends normal psychic abilities. Some theorize it taps into a primordial fear inherent in all life, while others believe it channels an echo of ancient Aeldari gods. The solitaires of the Harlequins, those rare individuals who can play the part of Slaanesh in the dance without losing their souls, remain an enigma. The source of their resistance to chaos and the ultimate fate of their souls upon death are subjects of much speculation. Some whisper that they have made a secret pact with Segorak, while others believe they have simply transcended the normal limitations of Aeldari existence. The pure purpose and full capabilities of the infinity circuit of the Craftworlds remain shrouded in mystery. While known to house the souls of the dead, some speculate that these vast psychic networks serve a greater purpose. Theories range from them being a collective consciousness guiding the Craftworld to a potential weapon of immense power, waiting to be unleashed in the Aeldari's darkest hour. The nature of the Aeldari's creation by the Old Ones leaves many questions unanswered. The extent of genetic engineering involved, the original purpose envisioned for the Aeldari, and the possibility of hidden capabilities programmed into their very being are subjects of ongoing debate and research among Aeldari scholars. These mysteries and many more permeate Aeldari society, driving quests for knowledge and power. Each secret uncovered often leads to more questions, fueling the insatiable curiosity that has long characterized the Aeldari. In their search for understanding, they hope to find not just knowledge, but perhaps the key to their salvation and the restoration of their fallen civilization. The saga of the Aeldari warriors echoes across the stars, a tale of fallen glory and relentless perseverance. Their martial prowess, honed over millennia, continues to shape the fate of the galaxy. As new threats emerge and ancient enemies awaken, the Aeldari stand at a crossroads, their every action weighted with the potential to either salvage their legacy or hasten their extinction. The emergence of the Inari heralds a potential paradigm shift in Aeldari warfare. Their ability to defy Slaanesh's grasp on their souls has emboldened some warriors, leading to more aggressive tactics. This new approach, blending the skills of Craftworld Aspect Warriors, Drukhari Raiders, and Harlequin performers, hints at the evolution of Aeldari combat doctrines. The synthesis of these diverse martial traditions may yet forge a path to victory against seemingly insurmountable odds. The awakening of Aeneid, even in its incomplete state, has sent ripples through the warp. This disturbance has not gone unnoticed by the Chaos Gods, particularly Slaanesh. The Dark Prince's increased attention on the Aeldari threatens to undo millennia of careful stealth and misdirection. Aeldari warriors now find themselves engaged in more direct confrontations with the forces of chaos, testing the limits of their skill and resolve. The partial resurrection of Robut Guilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines, facilitated by an unlikely alliance with the Inari, marks a turning point in Aeldari relations with the Imperium of Man. This cooperation, born of necessity, opens the door to potential future alliances. Aeldari warriors, long accustomed to fighting alone or manipulating others from the shadows, must now adapt to the possibility of fighting alongside human forces against common enemies. The growing Tyranid threat forces Aeldari strategists to reevaluate their long-term plans. The Great Devourer's inexorable advance threatens not just individual craft worlds or maiden worlds, but the very existence of life in the galaxy. Aeldari warriors find themselves in the unfamiliar position of having to consider the preservation of other races as key to their own survival. This shift in perspective influences their tactical and strategic decisions, sometimes leading to unexpected alliances or interventions. The resurgence of the Necron dynasties presents a unique challenge to Aeldari martial prowess. These ancient adversaries, with technology that rivals or surpasses that of the Aeldari at their height, force Aeldari warriors to rely more on their speed, skill, and foresight than technological superiority. The conflict with the Necrons also rekindles ancient enmities, stirring memories and knowledge long thought lost. The ongoing enhancement of human technology, particularly in the realm of genetic engineering and AI, narrows the gap between Aeldari and human capabilities. This development compels Aeldari warriors to push the boundaries of their own abilities and technology. The pressure to maintain their edge drives innovation in weaponry, tactics, and even in the understanding and application of their psychic powers. The path system, long a cornerstone of Craftworld society, faces unprecedented strain. The constant warfare and dwindling population make it increasingly difficult for Aeldari to step away from the path of the warrior. This results in a growing number of exarchs, warriors permanently locked in their martial aspect. While this trend produces ever more skilled fighters, it raises concerns about the long-term sustainability of Aeldari culture and the potential loss of vital civilian skills. The Drukhari, despite their outward appearance of confidence, face their own crisis. The constant need for souls to stave off Slaanesh's grasp drives them to ever more frequent and daring real space raids. This increased activity draws more attention from other races, potentially threatening the secrecy of Kamara. Drukhari warriors must balance their need for victims with the risk of exposing their hidden realm to devastating retaliation. The Harlequins, with their unique perspective on Aeldari history and destiny, play an increasingly vital role. Their ability to move between different Aeldari factions allows them to coordinate efforts and share crucial information. On the battlefield, their reality-bending performances sow confusion and terror among enemies, while inspiring fellow Aeldari to greater feats of valor. The search for the remaining Crone Swords intensifies, driving Inari war parties to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. These ancient artifacts, capable of severing the bond between Slaanesh and the Aeldari soul, represent both hope and danger. Their recovery could tip the balance in favor of the Aeldari, but the quests to find them often lead to costly battles and difficult choices. The specter of the Rana Dandra, the prophesied final battle, looms ever larger in the minds of Aeldari warriors. Each conflict, each victory or defeat is weighed against this foretold apocalypse. The question of whether their actions hasten or delay this ultimate confrontation adds an extra layer of complexity to every strategic decision. Despite the myriad challenges they face, the Aeldari warriors refuse to succumb to despair. Their indomitable spirit, honed by millennia of adversity, drives them to fight on against seemingly impossible odds. Each battle fought, each world defended, each foe vanquished is a defiant statement against the encroaching darkness. As the galaxy plunges deeper into turmoil, the fate of the Aeldari hangs in the balance. Their warriors stand as the vanguard against extinction, their every action rippling across time and space. The choices they make, the battles they fight, and the alliances they forge will determine not just the future of their race, but potentially that of the entire galaxy. In this time of ending and rebirth, the Aeldari warriors continue to adapt, to fight, and to hope. Their saga, begun in the dawn of time, is far from over. As new heroes rise and ancient prophecies unfold, they face the future with grim determination and unmatched skill, ready to write the next chapter in their eternal dance of war and survival.